happen. But it is time then for the Japanese Grand Prix. We are just about to load in. Here we go then. I'm going to try and get a decent camera view, but it doesn't look great. We've got 5 red lights though, and it's lights out, and away we go. It looks like a fantastic start from Connor from P2 on the grid. He's going to look to get up the inside, and it looks like he's going to make the move on Dorsey into turn 1. Yes, he does. He's clear of the Red Bull, so that's a brilliant move for Connor. The best start he could have hoped for. Smoke as well, up from P5. He's up into 3rd place. VR from 10th on the grid is already in P6. So those medium tyre guys do not look to have been disadvantaged much at all. Elite has slipped back as well from his starting place on the softs, which is definitely not what he would have hoped for, but it's looked like a pretty clean start. I haven't seen much towards the back, Harry, if you want to fill us in on what's been going on.
We had an Alpha Tauri on the grass change. That was Alan go down to someone. Sem's got some sort of damage because he's all out of shape, going quite slowly. Adrian with his cold tyres as well, James, has really lost out. He's down 9 now as he's battling with Badders, who's up 5. Badders has had a fantastic start here in the Alpine, up 5 places now, so he just slots ahead of the McLaren. But yeah, Sem's definitely got some damage. I didn't see it happen myself, and his car looks to be just about alright, but he's going very slowly, and something's obviously not right with that Williams.
Yeah, it's not been a good start at all for Adrian or Sem, as you say. Badders up from last on the grid, he's up 5. WR Peanut as well, obviously crashed out right at the start of qualifying. He's up 6 places. Looks like that long break hasn't affected him at all. And yeah, great starts at the front as well for Connor.
Oh, we've got a crash, VR's
gone. Huge crash on the exit of 130R after a brilliant start. He was up 4 on these medium tyres, and that is his race over already. We've got a VSC.
Should be.
Does anyone up to pit? Looks like they're all going to leave it.
Should be a red flag, really, James. The cars are absolutely mutilated in the middle of the track. We have got a few guys in the pit. Sem,
yeah, the guys in the battle with
Liam. Yeah, I wonder if those guys had a bit of contact then. I mean, this should be at least a safety car, really. That car, that was like, who crashed there? Who had the really big crash there? It was like that anyway. Almost
Sutil, was it maybe?
I can't remember, but it was almost a carbon copy of that crash anyway. I think all the guys that are pitting are changing front wings as well, James. So, like I say, I wonder if they did have some contact with each other. I said Owen should be confident about keeping his spot off the start, but it looks like Smoke's got the better of himself and Otter. And yeah, as you say, the likes of Peanut and Badders have had fantastic starts, up 6 and 7 respectively. Bennett as well, up 3, James. He's already making up for a bit of lost time then, it would seem.
Yeah, Elite has already made a move on Bad Otter off the restart. Looks like he's gone up the inside via Romeo into the hairpin. I'm sorry, I kind of just completely missed that one. Was listening quite intently to what Harry was saying, just missed the restart, so apologies for that. But it looks like Connor is going to have a bit of a challenge from Dorsey. Can't break that 1 second DRS barrier at the moment. We've got position changes further down the field. We've got a spinner. It looks like Alan in the Alpha Tauri has gone round. Yes, he has. He's dropping down the order. And yeah, I think that's moved Paul and Peanut up. So Peanut now up 8 places, even to P11 after only less than 2 laps actually. It looks like it's just going to be a DRS train. If Owen on these mediums can stick with the top 3, then that'll be very big for the rest of his race. Paul, I think, is going to look to make a move on Bennett. He's using quite a bit of battery. I think he's actually opted to just stick behind there. But I'm going to go back over to this battle at the front. I'm going to see if Owen can keep up with his top 3. Because, yeah, that would be huge for his race. He's got himself a nice gap to Elite. He's going to be pushing right ahead, I think, to make up for a bit of lost time at the start on his softs. Bit of a gap forming further back as well, I think, between Adrian and Alfie. So it looks like we're kind of getting a few trains now starting to form. Obviously that VSC will have kept everything nice and tight, but now the racing's really getting underway. We're starting to see these gaps emerging, and we're starting to see the top 3 now really stretch their legs. The gap between Smoke and Owen, 1.3 seconds now, so it doesn't look like the McLaren man is going to be able to keep the DRS of this top 3.
Yeah, Owen should be able to just bide his time for now, I think. And like I say, tyre temps and tyre wear will come into play, and those mediums should hopefully bring him a bit closer as the race goes on. But yeah, it's interesting to see, James. I know you mentioned overtaking. Talking of Peanut down the inside of Alfie, gets the elbows out and then some, pushes the Haas right off the track there. But he does get the move done. I think Alan's going to again as well. But yeah, talking about overtaking, it seems like it's going to be pretty difficult to do unless either you exert a lot of the battery or you've got massive overspeed through either having a much better line or someone making a mistake out of the corner. Because I was watching a couple of drivers down the start-finish straight only a lap or so ago, and as soon as the driver pulled out of the slipstream, James, they just had no overspeed on the cars in front as long as they're getting slipstream and obviously using their battery. Bit of fighting going on with Alfie and Paul, and Sem's gone again. Seems like Spoon's catching a few guys out, but I think Sem might have more than just car problems by the looks of things, because he's really struggling, James.
Yeah, we had a fantastic move a few moments ago. Caught it beautifully on stream from WRP. He went inside of Paul into 130R, and then they were side by side through the final chicane, but the Ferrari driver once again muscling his way through. I think, yeah, Sem's gone again, unfortunately for him. But then we had another fight between Alfie and Paul. I think Alfie must have got an illegal overtake after Paul had a big moment on the exit of the final corner, because he just let the Williams man straight back through on the start-finish straight. So yeah, battle for P10 really hotting up here, and it was a fantastic move from WRP. I think move of the race so far, but obviously it's very early days yet. And yeah, back to the front now. I've just noticed Elite started to close that gap on Owen. He'll be looking to make a move, I should think, probably on the start-finish straight at the start of lap 5. He won't want to be losing time behind Owen, who's obviously on those medium tyres, as we've mentioned quite a few times now. At the front as well, looks like Smoke is pretty quick in terms of race pace. He's closer to Dorsey than Dorsey is to Connor, although there's just over a second separating all three of them, which is pretty impressive. Going to stay on board there with Elite, Harry, if you want to take us through what I should think would be quite a comfortable move.
Yeah, I think he should have him pretty easy. He's got the DRS, so shouldn't have too much of a problem with overspeed here. Goes to the inside, and yeah, he's got it done even for the braking zone here. Up the inside, Owen tries to fight back, but just can't. I mean, they've done pretty well to drop the top 3 to drop Owen and Elite, obviously buying his time to get past him, and they've also dropped Bad Otter as well, these two, although this battling might bring him just a little bit closer, but Bad Otter as well has brought Mason Gammon along, but they've got a 2-second gap to Ellis, so the field is definitely starting to spread out a bit now. I think those on the softs might be struggling a little bit just with the tyre temps, or at least some will more than others, perhaps, as Ellis gets a lot of understeer through the Degners, which is usually a sign of tyres overheating. Bennett is definitely having a little look at the Mercedes now as well, as he's trying to continue his good start. Peanut as well, just following these guys along. Yeah, Sem's still struggling. Liam pitted for mediums, by the way. Moley was on the soft. Sem's on the hards, but Sem himself definitely needs a safety car. I mean, Moley and Liam will also need a safety car, but yeah, especially Sem. Just shows you know, how much can change in a week. Obviously, won last weekend, last this weekend, as Bennett now is going to get past the Mercedes. James, he's up to 8th.
Yeah, that was a fantastic move actually from Bennett. He stuck it round the outside of Spoon, a very ballsy move. Fair play to Ellis as well. He left him more than enough racing room. It was very respectful between the two of them. And yeah, Bennett just using a bit more of that battery, powered his way past.
Ellis is going to come back at him, James.
Yeah, he's going to come back at him. DRS smart actually from Ellis. I think he's meant to do that for sure. DRS, little bit of battery as well, and yeah, he'll power his way back up into P8. This could be one that we keep coming back to for a few laps to go. But Mason as well, quite close to the back of Bad Otter. I thought we might have seen a move there, but it doesn't look like that one's taken place.
Yeah, those 4 drivers have sort of compressed up, James, now, and there's also a group from Ellis down to Adrian. The top 3 still pulling away, gap up to 3.5 now. So obviously tyres for them not an issue just at the moment. We've got the first penalty of the evening, that's with Badders. But yeah, it's very tight. Sem has actually crashed now. So a few bits of crash a couple of seasons ago. Liam as well is off in the first sector, and Bennett and Ellis. Well, Bennett just, I think, completely forgot that Ellis was on his outside there. Kind of cut him off, and they made contact. 3 yellow flags all at once. Ellis has got 10-second time here for exceeding track limits as well. It's just unfortunate contact. I think Bennett might wait up for him, which is very sporting of him, but it's or either that or he's made a mistake. I'm not sure, but yeah, it just seemed as though Bennett kind of must have thought he was past the Mercedes.
Yeah.
And unfortunately wasn't, tagged him and pushed him off the track. Now Preds is also up past Badders as well.
Sorry to cut you off, Harry. I think there might have been.
Oh yeah, the wrist. Dorsey's on.
I just missed the move, and then Dorsey all of a sudden was sideways, drifting it through the first couple of corners. Actually thinking about it, there might not have been contact because it looked like Dorsey was quite a way ahead. But yeah, he's gone from, he was first, he's now straight back down to third. That an unfortunate moment there for Dorsey. Unfortunately, just missed what happened. Couldn't quite get there in time.
He's looking very understeery here, James. But
yeah, I
there's
think
no
his tyres must have overheated from that drift because the top two are just pulling away from him.
Yeah, there's no visible damage on that Red Bull, so it must be to do with the overheating. That's all I can think. That incident as well, James, between Bennett and Ellis has meant that Mason now has a just over 4 second gap to pull behind. 4.5 seconds it's looking like now. It was about 2.5 the lap before, so that's gained them a lot of time. At the moment, it looks like there's sort of 3 or 4 separate races forming. It's the top 3, then it's 4th to 7th, then it's 8th to 11th, and then it's kind of everyone else. As I say that, Adrian's just gone, so it's now 8th to 10th. Adrian again, another victim of Spoon. That's really causing quite a lot of drivers' problems here. Dorsey, has he got the DRS? Because this is big for his race. If he's lost the DRS, James, this is crucial now. Connor and Smoke might just fancy a bit of teamwork here to try and drop the Red Bull of Dorsey, because I'm sure they'd rather be battling for the lead between the two of them as opposed to having a third car involved. Now, this is important here for the race. Has Dorsey managed to get his tyre attempts down as well? Because if he hasn't, he's going to struggle to reel these guys in. Otherwise, you think he would with the dirty air that Smoke will be getting off the back of Connor.
We're having I'll tell you what, we're having an absolutely fantastic three-way battle here over P8. Paul and Peanut have been providing most of the action, but Alfie as well. I think there was a bit of contact between the two DPT boys at the final chicane. It looked like Alfie was trying to go around the outside of Paul at one point, but I think Paul shut the door and made that one pretty clear what he thought about that. But yeah, Peanut and Paul have been battling it out. Most of the action really between the two of them has been coming.
Oh, we've got a car gone, James. That's Preds.
On those hards.
Yeah, just out of the second
he was keeping them nicely, actually.
I'll tell you what, James, Peanut and Paul were just going side by side through Dunlop, so they're having a fantastic battle here. No quarter being given, but it's clean at the same time.
Yeah, I think Paul's going to look to try and get him up towards 130R, and then probably the Casio triangle again this lap. It's where most of the action between these guys has been happening. And this was just saying it was really difficult to overtake around here. This has been a hell of a battle.
Dorsey's in already, James. Dorsey's in the pits.
Well. Yeah, I think that's a smart decision. He needs that DRS back.
Paul's going to try it around the outside.
Peanut shuts the door. He says, not today. Oh my goodness, that was so close. Grimacing there as the Williams almost.
I think we both sort of braced for impact there, didn't we?
Yeah, Paul from about crushing out.
Oh, they're still going. James
Alfie
sideways. He's drifting through the first couple of corners. God, they're still going at it, these three.
What a battle this is going to be. Hopefully this one will carry on for the laps to come. Dorsey out in a nice bit of clean air as well, Harry, which is crucial for him. He couldn't afford to get stuck behind anyone, so now he can just put in a lap or two, get himself right back into this fight for the lead. I don't think a lap or two older tyres will affect him too much, and obviously he needs that DRS to really have a chance of sticking with these top two.
Yeah,
Liam's showing that those fresh mediums can really help you in this race. I think as well, Owen now starting to look like making a move on Elite, which could suggest that the mediums are becoming the better tyre.
Yeah, it does to me, James, look like the top three are sort of going to be the only guys battling for the victory here this evening unless we get a safety car. Because, I mean, there's a 5 second gap back to Elite, and then the 3 drivers behind him all on the mediums. So Mason Gammon's had a pretty nice start to the race as well, because he's up 2 and on those mediums in this battle for 3rd. This is really going to be the battle of the undercut versus the alternate strategy, because Elite's going to be pitting in the next couple of laps or so. You'd imagine these medium runners aren't going to be pitting for sort of 5, 6, possibly even 7 laps. So it's going to be how big a gap can Elite get on that undercut, and then how long will it take for the guys on the softs to then pull that back. As Owen is now actually past Elite, he's up into 2nd. We've got Connor as well in the pits. We had I think Paul had lost his Williams just at 130R as well. So again, action is coming through in stages, getting a bit more there. But yeah, Owen now up into 2nd. trying to put a car between himself and the other medium runners, and you know, try and stake his claim as the challenger, I think, for Elite for P4 in this race.
What is crucial as well for this race, Harry, is the fact that Alan is now in between Connor and Dorsey. Dorsey's going to need to get past the AlphaTauri as soon as possible if he wants to keep up with Connor. Obviously, I think Smoke will just slot in between the two of them. So if Dorsey's lucky here, he might still be able to pick up the DRS. But yeah, Connor's just now able to pull away. And Alan, I think, is really hampering Dorsey's progress at the moment. He needs to make this move as soon as possible. Hopefully he'll do it down the back straight and then just pull clear.
Yeah, you'd imagine Smoke should be just slotting in behind Connor, probably still within his DRS. So I think Dorsey is he's definitely running the risk here of slipping away from this fight for the lead here. He might be sort of condemning himself to a P3 finish here, which obviously is not bad, but I'm sure he'd be wanting to fight for this victory, but it's kind of out of his control at the moment, although he has now got past the AlphaTauri. Where's Smoke going to come out? I say where's Smoke going to come out? He's not pitted yet, so we wait another lap to see. Smoke obviously hoping that fresher tyres towards the end of the race will come to his advantage, and Alan's going to get back past Dorsey, James. That is big for the race.
That's going to be very frustrating as well for Dorsey. Obviously Alan not really in this fight for the lead at all.
Yet to pit.
And yeah, yet to pit, of course.
Oh, Dorsey!
He's getting right in the way.
Dorsey taking a big chunk of the curb there as well, James. Very close to just over rotating the car and losing it.
I think this is a very smart play from Smoke. I'm a little surprised that it looks like this is what's happening, considering Bennett is second in the championship.
Oh wow, yeah.
But it looks like, I mean, Bennett might not be intentionally holding them up, obviously, because he hasn't pitted yet on those medium tyres, but it is Bennett now, the car that is in front of Connor here.
And it's both the Aston Martins fighting for the championship, you say?
Yeah, but 20 points between the two of them. I think Smoke could be using this dirty air that Connor's getting there as a bit of a
Liam's gone again, James, in the first sector. Just a spin though.
Yeah, a bit of an opportunity to get himself out of Connor's DRS. If he's pushed like hell for these last couple of laps while Connor's been kind of stuck really behind Bennett, he'd probably be going quicker if Bennett wasn't there.
Elite's into the pits as a Smoke, James. Owen had put over a second between himself and Elite before he just pitted, so Owen's got a nice little gap then to the other mediums runners.
I fancy Owen for a podium here, Harry, to be honest.
Where's Smoke going to come out? I'd say Owen could definitely challenge Dorsey now, because he'll have brought that gap down and he'll be on softs at the end. So Smoke comes out, Connor's got past Bennett, and to be honest, Smoke's going to be side by side with Dorsey.
We've got a safety car.
And there's a safety car, and somehow both Dorsey and Smoke still in the race, because honestly, they made contact, Ghosting saved them, and Ghosting's not even meant to be on in this division, so I don't quite know how that's happened.
Because he's in the pit lane. I think he always goes in the pit lane.
This has gone horribly wrong for Connor though, James, because he had a very sizable gap to Dorsey. 3 seconds he had to Dorsey, did Connor. And now he's lost all of that gap by the safety car, because you'd imagine Bennett and Alan are going to pit, but for what tyres will they pit for? You've got to think the hards, because the mediums
this is also played
they've started on, and the softs won't last.
Safety car comes in end of lap 14. They've got 12-13 laps to do. Fresh softs for quite a lot of these guys as well, including the top 3 who have all started this race on medium tyres.
Helps Preds, James, to be fair. He can go onto the mediums as he started on the hards, but he's down in 12th anyway.
I think these top 3, I think, have to gamble and go on the softs and just look after them to the end of the race. I'd be amazed if they don't pit. They'll pit, but it just depends what tyres for. If I was them, I think I'd go for the softs and just hope I can nurse them to the end of the race. It will be interesting to see what these guys decide to do though, as yeah, they're obviously all coming into the pit, so it'd be stupid of them, quite frankly, not to. With yeah, almost half race distance covered. Alfie as well pitting, obviously. Peanut, Connor will stay out. I presume he'll regain the race lead.
Yeah, mix of softs and hards here, James.
Bennett in the pits, Alan in the pits.
Just a quick one, James. I can tell you we have now qualified as well, I'm pretty sure, for the Big Twos tournament. As
what we good to see. Owen out in P4 on the softs. Badotta has gone for the hard carry, same as Peanut. But yeah, we've got a bit of a mix here for those guys that were on the mediums. Most going for softs actually. now that a few more have pitted. But yeah, we've got a couple on. We've got Otto and Peanut on hards, and then Owen, Alfie, Bennett, and Alan all on softs, and then the rest of the field are all on mediums.
Yeah, this will be interesting to see, James. I think Owen's objective here has got to be dispose of the top 3 as quickly as possible. Because if he can't, then he's kind of screwed, I think. If he can get past them, build a gap, and then it's going to be in those last sort of 5 laps or so, how much can they bring the gap down?
I think I'd play this one differently, Harry.
Will Owen be able to bridge a big enough gap or not?
I mean, the safety car, I think, might come in end of lap 15 now, it looks like. Nah, they'll all catch up, I think. Yeah, maybe end of next lap.
But if you're Owen, surely
if I was Owen, he'll have the tyre advantage for quite a while. I think he could take his time, pick them off one by one, and just focus on looking after his tyres. Because he can do it in short bursts. He'll have the grip to be able to make the moves, so he can just take his time, pick them off one by one. I'd be more inclined to do that, I think, if I was him.
I think the thing is as well, Dorsey and Connor as well, their sort of tyre wear will kind of be mitigated by the safety car coming out. It won't be as significant now towards the end. I think if I were Owen, I'd want to try and get into the lead and build a gap, but maybe not. But yeah, it's interesting to see. I personally, I'd want to get the lead and I'd want to build a gap, just because those softs will start to go off those last sort of 4 or 5 laps, and then at that point you can't really defend. So if you can't defend, you can't overtake. Because Owen has got a penalty for a collision with Bad Otter, who looks like, I think Owen's disconnected, James. We need to try and get him back in, because his AI might surf that or something. Oh, he's now had a massive lag spike and gone right to the back. Oh dear, that is okay. So scrap that for Owen. And in fact, he's now pitting. I have absolutely no idea what's just happened there.
There was no contact. I've got the stream. The stream's about 10 seconds behind. There was no contact between them at all. He's just been given a random penalty.
And now pitted.
When he was miles past the pits, yeah, that's a really unfortunate bit of luck there for Owen.
I think he has disconnected because he's not leaving the pits.
It's really bad luck. Yeah, no, he's going now.
Yeah, but that's taken a long time to leave the pits.
Was it serving the penalty? No,
The
he's not served 10 second penalty.
The safety car has left everyone as well. I'm wondering if the game's glitched out here.
Yeah, we've had this glitch before, haven't we?
Because the safety car has now stopped and it's waiting. It's waiting on the exit of turn 2 for all the drivers.
It'll be very interesting to see what happens when Connor gets.
I'm hoping that's just a sort of a little bug because of what happened to Owen, and the safety car will pick them all up and come in the next lap or so. But if not, it might be an early shower tonight. An early bath.
That's a very
half points awarded. If there's no fix for this, I'm slightly concerned.
Yeah, it's a very big part in this race though, because obviously Owen was P4 on the softs. They've now the top 3 now have Bad Otter behind them on the hards. Yep, the safety car's picked them all up, thankfully. Yeah, crap luck for Owen. Looks like the game's just shaking, to be honest. To be quite blunt about it. But looks like we are going to be able to continue with this race, which is the one positive from that fast. The top 3, Smoke obviously has the freshest tyres. He's looked the quickest, I'd say, personally, on race pace out of all of them as well. But he's got his work cut out again. He was in P2, but he's now back in P3 again.
Those fresh tyres should definitely help Smoke out though towards the end of the race.
Even with the safety car, I think the tyres for the front 2 will they're obviously going to be worse, aren't they? So could play a part for sure, Harry. I think Bad Otter's got to be worried now on those hards. Mason Gammon, to be fair, could be a good shout for podium as well. He's only got to do 12 laps on those softs, so I think it's definitely worth keeping an eye on him as well, Harry. Alfie, Bennett, Allen could all be making pushes for the top 5, top 6 towards the end of this race as well. So yeah, this race only just halfway through, but it's far from done here. The safety car has basically split this race into two, hasn't it really?
Mm.
There's smokes on the grass now. Doesn't look like the safety car's coming in. Probably gonna actually let Owen catch up, which is about the nicest thing it could do. First bit of luck he's had for a while.
What's that, sorry, mate?
Safety car's letting Owen catch up, I think.
That's if it does come in.
Well, yeah. Right, always good to have a little break now and then. I think we are going to be ready for the safety car to come in this lap though. These Code Masters. This moment of truth then. Will the safety car be coming in and letting us restart this race? Yes, it will.
Okay, so
Lovely
whatever
stuff.
whatever that was, it was only a minor inconvenience.
I think it just stayed out because of that glitch that Owen had. So it will be Connor then to get us back underway. He effectively takes over the job of the safety car, maintain his speed and keep the field all bunched up. He's almost certainly going to go out of this final corner and then pull out of the slipstream on the start-finish straight to keep Dorsey back. And yeah, he's already got about an 8/10 gap as he's gone and caught
Otto and Smoke, James, side by side into turn one.
Otto on the hards, yeah, side by side, and he's just lost the car on the curb a little bit there, Otto, but he's managed to avoid hitting Smoke, which is pretty impressive. Smoke, I think, has had to concede really. Couldn't keep it up the inside there with the nature of the corners, and Otto on the hard tyres is not messing about on this restart at all. Now Mason Gammon as well going to be joining this fight for P3. He's on the soft, so you'd fancy him more than anyone now to maybe get this final podium spot.
Yeah,
have his work cut out here.
That was far from ideal.
For Dorsey.
Whoa, pen for Dorsey, that's big as well. Far from ideal start for Smoke. Also, as Bennett loses a little bit of traction there out of the second Degner, and Alan's going to have a look around the outside. Is he at the hairpin? Yes, he is. Can he get the traction? Oh, I'll tell you what, James, that's a fantastic move if he can pull this off. The AlphaTauri driver went right round the outside of the hairpin and he's got it done. Brilliant move. Both Ferraris now going side by side, with Peanut trying to go around the outside of Elite. Contact made into Spoon, side by side, banging tyres, banging bodywork. Elite just about staying ahead of his teammate, but Peanut's going to try and come back at him, is he? Elite trying to cover him off. No team orders or anything going on here at Ferrari. They're going at each other here in this contact. Elite into the wall. He seems to slow down.
Huge crash. That is a huge crash.
Peanut's in the back of him.
Hit him as well.
Oh, and there's a massive crash. And what happened afterwards? I just saw Elite spinning off. Did he get collected?
I'm pretty sure someone behind him hit him. I couldn't see who it was.
Yes.
They might not have hit him like head on and got front wing damage, but I'm pretty sure I saw behind me. I'm gonna look back on the stream now, but yeah, I was kind of looking back, I think, from Peanut, and I could have sworn someone else hit him. I think they might have all avoided him actually, now that I've looked back at it. But yeah, huge crash for Elite. I think just a bit of a misjudgment there from Peanut. I think that's how I describe it.
Well, he's got a drive through though.
Drive through.
Talking of misjudgments, things go from bad to worse for the Ferrari driver.
That is Ferrari's day well and truly ruined, isn't it? That's going to be a no point score for them. Very unfortunate really, because they were both on for pretty solid points. I think, yeah, Peanut just misjudged the speed that Elite was taking. Elite obviously slowed down a bit on the exit, and yeah, unavoidable contact really once that had happened, and unfortunately, yeah, Elite into the wall and out of the race.
Yeah, we've got Preds sniffing around at the gearbox of Bennett, as well as that Paul as well, trying to get him.
Oh,
yeah, Peanut's gone now again.
Now gone. Two huge crashes in the space of 2 laps for both Ferrari drivers. Peanut's somehow still in the race there. That was another big accident.
I wonder if someone sabotaged the Ferrari cars there, James.
And I'll tell you what though, Harry, as well, bad Otter on these hard tyres. Something seems to have happened here. He was, as soon as I say that, of course, he was 3 tenths behind Dorsey. He's now 8 tenths behind him, and smoke's right up him. But bad Otter on these hard tyres is no slouch at all here in the latter stages of this race. Mason Gammon's still, he's going to be getting frustrated now behind Smoke on these fresh softs. He'll be wanting to make the most out of these as possible. Is he opportunistic lunge at the inside? There was never.
We've got someone off. We got Mason Gammon off.
Gone.
Yeah.
And that's, yep, his chance at a podium gone, unfortunately for him. Just a bit of a opportunistic move, it has to be said. That gap was always closing, but he had to try something on those softs. He had to try and take a gamble and make the most of that higher advantage. So now it looks like it's a fight between Smoke and Otto again for this podium, but Alfie and Alan behind on those softs are going to be closing in as fast as they can. Connor now really can just take it easy out front. It has to be said, they've got a nice little gap to Otto behind. It's just these two in a bubble really, and of course Connor hasn't got a penalty like Dorsey, so he could effectively just let Dorsey through, sit behind him for the next 8-9 laps and take the win. But it's definitely not going to be as simple as that. I'm sure Connor would love it if it was as simple as that, but I'm sure this race is far from over just yet.
Yeah, it's probably in neither of their, well, it's probably both of their in their best interests, the guys out front, really to just pull away. I mean, Connor obviously doesn't want to be challenged by anyone for the victory, which at the moment he shouldn't be, and Dorsey as well won't want to lose time battling, because he needs to try and pull as much time as possible to the guys behind to make sure he still finishes as high up as possible really. I mean, Dorsey at this point should probably still be trying to target P2. That is, if they can pull away enough from Bad Otter to pull 3 seconds on him. At the moment they've got half of that. So yeah, I mean, I'd imagine we won't see a terrible amount of fighting at the front for the rest of this race, but who knows. Everyone's still kind of moving up the order, obviously, as we get the odd spinner now seemingly every lap or every other lap. I think Owen pitted again, either that or he spun, but he's still on the same tyres, so I'm not sure if that's a glitch if he did pit or if it was just a spin. Talking of spins,
Smoke's gone.
Yeah, there's Smoke. So yeah, it really does seem like at the moment it's sort of every lap or every other lap at the most we're seeing someone spin. As Paul's now going to try down the inside of Smoke into 130R. Smoke has to back out. I don't know if he's got any damage.
He's missing his right end plate.
Yeah, he is, isn't he, James?
So Smoke's now gone from potential podium to probably no points at all in this race, unfortunately for him. And that's going to mean a nice gain for Bennett. So that's going to close the championship right up as it stands. Bennett was looking for all the world this weekend, like he was going to lose more ground on his teammate. But looks like now he's going to have a pretty solid gain of at least, I don't know, 4 points at worst, really. I couldn't imagine him finishing lower than 8 from this position. But either way, a gain is a gain. He'll be making some ground back up on his teammate in the championship.
Yeah, Mason Gammon, James, right at the back of his teammate. Bit of contact again, so it's the race for teammates making contacts, I think, at the moment. Anyway, might be in the team's best interest to swap them around. I don't think it'll be in their individual interest to do that. But again, the field, even only a few laps after the safety cars, split up quite a bit. We've got the front two, then three behind, and then another three, and then a couple of twos, and then it's Owen on his own at the back. So yeah, field really spreading out now with 6 laps to go once Connor crosses the line to start lap 22.
Getting very close at the front again, Harry. Dorsey thought about a move. I think Connor went very defensive into turn 1. They can kind of afford to battle a bit now. The gap is opening up. Too bad also. He's doing a fantastic job, it has to be said, of holding on to that final podium spot as it stands. He's withstanding the pressure from these soft rims behind him. And I think if we can kind of keep him behind for another couple of laps, then the tyres will start to come back to him.
Ellis just picking up another penalty there, I think. That's one thing actually to comment on. I know we've still got a little while to go, but to the driver's credit so far, really very few penalties.
Obviously Ellis got that 10-second one, didn't he, where him and Bennett had contact, but then I think apart from that there's only been the 2 for Dorsey, and then the one that Ellis just picked up that I think Elite, sorry, not Elite, Peanut might have got a 5-second one.
Perhaps a good thing, really. That
oh, it's now Alan's gone on the exit
Alan.
30R.
Yeah, they're dropping like flies, James. Another retirement.
VSC.
Another VSC. I
That's
think
now put Bennett
Dorsey,
on 5th, so getting even more points on Smoke.
Dorsey would have let out a sigh of relief there. Because the safety car
definitely will.
Safety car really would have damaged his chance at P2.
As it stands, he's off the podium though, Harry.
Yeah, I think, well, I was about to say, I think it's a good thing that Ellis got that other penalty, because obviously he won't lose out on points, because that 10-second won't be removed. Obviously, as soon as I thought that, he's now up to 10th and will almost certainly not be scoring any points because of that really unfortunate penalty. He has over a 3-second gap to Modi behind, but obviously the 10-second as well. Yeah, puts him quite a way behind. So that's a shame for Ellis, because kind of battling hard. He's not had the best of times this race. He's been in the wars a bit, hasn't he, the Mercedes driver, and in quali as well. In fact,
yeah, of course, yeah, with those two spins in Q3 as well. I'm just keeping an eye on this restart here, because Alfie is obviously within the DRS.
They've lost a lot of time at the front,
change
James.
for the lead. There you go. Keeping an eye on this restart. I've missed the change for the lead.
Kind of looked like Connor just let him go, to be honest, mate.
I think, to be honest, Connor's probably just played it safe, hasn't he? He knows he's got this one in the bag if he can just keep it clean for these last 5 laps. That's also, though, not too far back still, which is very impressive on those hards. Imagine if he'd gone on softs.
Connor having a little look there, James, into turn 1 on Dorsey, but deciding to sit behind him for now.
I think Dorsey has decided that now's the time he needs to start pulling a bit of a gap to those guys behind to try and ensure he can get himself onto the podium.
Yeah, they lost well over a second though to Otter on that restart. I'm not quite sure what happened there. So we've got more yellow flags. Preds is now gone. So that's another driver with a spin, and whoa. Again, maybe ghosting is on, because Preds is just ghosting right into the middle of the track.
He is on the div one, yeah.
Yeah, I was. Oh, he's gone again, James. I was worried he was about to completely swipe out. I think it was Ellis, who at this rate might actually have a chance at a point or two. We'll have to wait and see. He's now actually passed
Owen
Mason
might end up back in
Gammon
the
as
points
well.
as
So
well.
Mason Gammon, I think, has also had some sort of incident because he's got his teammate ahead of him now, which was not the case just a few moments ago. I was talking about the gap. The gap's now already back up to 2.7 out front. Dorsey's got nearly 3.5.
Oh, contact on the straight. Sorry to kind of put in there, Harry. We missed Alpha getting past Otto.
We're still going at
it. The two of them on the straight.
There's contact now. There's a lot of contact. Otter's round. More.
Bennett's going to be onto the podium.
More instance of a driver hitting another one up the rear. That's really been the theme of this evening. Are we racing? Have we got dogs racing in these cars? They're all at each other's rears, I think. As Adrian's now drifting through turn 1, and yeah, as you say, Bennett, through all the chaos, has found himself into P3, and Dorsey now, I don't think, has to worry about losing out on P2.
No, definitely not, unless something really bad happens to him in the next few laps. Yeah, Bennett looking like he's going to gain 15 points in the end. His gap to Smoke was going to increase, but it's now going to come down astronomically after a pretty bizarre change of events in the last 10 laps really. It's been all happening so fast. This race has flown by, especially the second half of it after that safety car. And yeah, Bennett is now going to close this gap in the championship up to 5 points as it stands, with I think about 5 or 6 races to go.
Well, there's still quite a way to go for sure. Yeah, it might even be 7 races left.
How many races are there left? Let's have a quick look.
Well, Mexico, USA.
7 races left.
Mexico, USA.
As I say, that pool is going to get past
Australia, Brazil, Abu Dhabi,
Bennett,
Jeddah.
Just playing the long game there.
What's the other one?
Game. I guess he's probably thinking about the championship a little bit. He's letting through Abu Dhabi, mate.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yep, smart from Bennett. He's obviously just waited. He's got the DRS back on the straight and he's made it past Paul.
Adrian's doing his best, I think, to try and pull off some extravagant overtake where he drifts down the inside of Alfie, because he's taken a fat load of curve into turn 1 and nearly lost the car again. I was bracing for another big drift from the McLaren driver. Fair play to him if he pulls it off, but if he doesn't, he's gonna he runs the risk of losing out on some decent points here. I say that like he's doing it deliberately. I'm sure he's not, but might want to just be a bit careful of that, given the high rate of spins per lap we've seemingly had this race.
Bennett really is holding on here as well, Harry. Holding on for dear life.
Yeah, Alfie as well. James has just had a very poor exit out of the hairpin. I think the softs are sort of hanging on for dear life, aren't they? He's just having a look down the inside. It's a spoon. Yeah, the softs have gone, James. Look at him.
Yeah. Smart from Adrian, thought better of it. No point sticking the nose up there, because that's gonna end. That's only gonna end one way for him. Paul, I think, will probably just bide his time this time. Hopefully, he'll have learnt from last lap, and we'll just wait for the start-finish straight to get Bennett.
Yeah, he's not going to, and I don't think Bennett's going to mind either, although he does defend rather sternly. Paul taking a lot out of the final.
He's gonna cruise by him here, isn't he? He's got so much more battery. He's got the DRS advantage as well. And that is Paul on the final lap of the race, making his way up onto the podium.
Oh, Adrian and
as well,
Alfie.
getting past Alfie. There's contact. The
big
hat is
contact,
round.
James. Big contact.
Unfortunately, just missed it. Sounds like you got a better view of it. Sorry, Harry.
Yeah, Adrian tried to go around the outside. I think it is a case of into that corner. Such a fast, tight corner that it was just, I think, a case of them coming together. Although I didn't get a brilliant view of it, so maybe one driver was more at fault than another, but I can't say from my view I could really judge it that way. And yeah, I mean, I do feel for Ellis, James, because he's actually even with that penalty on for what would be P9, but he's going to finish 11th, I think, here, which is a real shame, because he has fought hard to get into a pretty nice position here to at least score a couple of points. And yeah, unfortunate I think because he really I wouldn't say he was to blame for that incident, but I'll hand it back to you as we're going to have the checkered flag drop.
Yes, of course.
And the winner
so it will be
over the line.
Yeah, it will be Dorsey, the first across the line, but it will be SLR Connor who takes the win in the Japanese Grand Prix. A fantastic drive from these front two. They've been pretty commanding throughout this race. So yeah, it's Connor. Didn't get the better of Dorsey in qualifying, but got the better of him in the race to take the win. Dorsey second, Paul finishing in P3 from 13th on the grid, I believe it was. That's a fantastic drive through the field from him. Bennett up 8 as well, big points for the championship. He's gained 12 on Smoke, his teammate.
Ellis gets a point.
P4 for him. Hey. Adrian in P5 from 7th on the grid. One of the quieter races in the field, I think, and just brought home some solid points in the top 5. Alfie was having some brilliant battles throughout this race, made some fantastic moves as well, I remember seeing. He's in P6, Bad Otter, bit of bad luck really. Had probably a top 5, maybe even a podium taken away from him late on, obviously after that contact in the final chicane with Alfie. I wouldn't be surprised if the stewards want to have a look at that one. Mason in P8 after starting on the mediums and opting for those softs late on. Owen after his unfortunate disconnect, lag, glitchy incident, whatever happened, was maybe looking like a favourite really for a podium. He's ended up in 9th, and yeah, Ellis after that 10-second penalty does get his deserved points finish. I'm not sure if Smoke snatched the fastest lap away at the end. I'm not even sure who had it, to be honest. But yeah, if we can get some votes for driver of the day as well, that would be nice. The game has given it to Paul. I'd say Paul's probably a decent shout for it as well, but I think Connor's also a solid bet. Obviously only moved up to 1 place, but it was a pretty commanding drive. Never really looked troubled. Troubled from anyone apart from Dorsey or Smoke, and then of course Smoke spun, and that penalty for Dorsey really settled it. You could just play it calm. But yeah, Moley and Preds and Smoke, the 3 outside the points. Smoke did comfortably get the fastest lap actually in the end, didn't he? And then Alan, Peanut, Liam, Badders and VR all unfortunately failed to take the checkered flag. But yeah, if you could start getting the top 3 in then, Harry. I have to say, after not commentating on a race in a very long time, this was a brilliant one to come back to. Action from start to finish, and yeah, it was actually a really enjoyable race. Round the brilliant track. So yeah, thank you Div 1 for putting on a great show for us, and thank you, Harry, for joining me after the qualifiers. Appreciate a bit of support in the box, but yeah, we'll get started with these podium interviews in a second then, and then that will be that. Are they all in, Harry?
Well, I've invited everyone, so I'm not sure if everyone's in yet.
No, everyone's
in.
All
right.
Make sure to tick your boxes, guys, if you haven't already, and I'll let Harry ask a few questions.
All right then. So we'll start with Paul. 13th on the grid, I believe it was, up to 3rd. Pretty nice race from yourself. Obviously a lot of action with overtakes and stuff. Safety car playing a big part, I imagine, but a good drive nevertheless. So yeah, how do you think that race went for you?
Yeah, thank you. Basically what happened was I had an incident, so the safety car really benefited us, and I just decided to stay out because I didn't particularly want to battle anyone, and then just started slowly working my way through the field, and so I managed to end up in P3.
In terms of strategy, what were you hoping to do? Were you looking at doing the alternate?
Well, I started on the softs just in case I got damaged, because obviously being in the midfield it's quite risky, especially going into turn 1. So if I did get damaged, I could just box for mediums or hards lap 1. It wouldn't be really the end of the world. So I just went from there.
Yeah, good job on the podium. We'll move on then to Dorsey. Pole is his second. Race pace, obviously very good. One on track, unfortunately lost out due to that time penalty. Pitted quite early as well after you lost the DRS. Was that losing the car out of turn one? We saw you went off. Did you have a little bit of an incident, or did you just lose the car?
Just literally lost the car. Went in past Connor, obviously, to overtake him for the lead, and then hit the curb, and it just sent me. Don't know how I kept it on the track, but I felt like after that my tyres were a bit toast, so I thought I'd better come in and one, try and undercut, two, get on some fresh rubber.
Yeah, we noticed that. We thought your tyres might have started to overheat. We were thinking as well. You might have lost your chance at winning just being stuck behind. Who was it you were stuck behind? You know, I've forgotten. I think an AlphaTauri you were stuck behind.
Alan.
Yeah, Alan. Yeah, we thought you might have lost your chance at the victory, but obviously you got back into it with the safety car. But yeah, unfortunately, just at the end of the time penalty, lost that. But are you happy with the result, nevertheless?
Yeah. I mean, I've not raced since the start of the season. I've had a few like equipment issues with my racing seat and stuff. So for the first race back to get pole and then come on the podium, yeah, that's brilliant. I had a really good race. Really enjoyed that. So say thank you to Connor. It was great.
Yeah, well done, mate. Your pace looked good throughout, and hopefully we'll see more of you throughout the rest of the season.
Cheers.
All right, and finally then, Connor, winner this evening. Thought you might have had pole at the end of Q3, but Dorsey just nicked it back at the end. Were you happy with your qualifying lap?
Yeah, 100%. I actually had Sam in my ear saying, you've got Paul, and then somehow Dorsey got 2 tenths out of me in the final sector. He must have just flatlined the chicane or something, you know. But yeah, it was a really good lap, and then obviously just got an absolutely perfect start. And yeah, that kind of just nullified the losing it, you know. It was a really good lap. Dorsey's lap was incredible, and then I just managed to get a better start with him.
Yeah, and then in terms of the race, obviously you had a pretty nice start, sort of just held within that top three for the whole of the first stint, and then pitted just after Dorsey, but kept your gap, and then obviously put the car in between yourself and Dorsey, which gave you a nice gap. Would have been interesting to see what would have happened without the safety car in terms of smoke, because obviously he had slightly fresher tyres, but
Yeah.
I mean, you were looking good before and then after the safety car. So yeah, just talk us through I guess the restart and then just the end of the race, because obviously after Dorsey pit to that penalty, we were sort of saying you didn't need to take any risks and you could kind of afford to just sort of keep it safe.
Yeah, exactly that. So we had the first safety car. I thought Smoke hadn't pitted before the first safety car. So I thought Smoke was going to be in first. So I was like raging in the party, and then I realised Smoke had actually already pitted and he was behind me. So I had the lead of the race. And obviously I had 2 seconds to Dorsey, so that it closed up the 2 seconds. When I had the 2 second gap, I felt fine, but when he was in the DRS, I just couldn't get him out of the DRS. I could gain, a few tenths on him for the first 2 sectors, but he just managed to stay in the DRS every time. And then I'm not gonna lie, when he got the penalty, that was a big sigh of relief, because they just meant I didn't have to fight him, just as long as, keep him behind as long as I can. And then once and if he did just start to fight with me, just let him go, stick with him until the end. And then I was going to hop him, obviously. It was even hard to stick with him, because then at the end, it was the first time I'd been in dirty air. I'd not been in dirty air the whole race. And then I was on obviously very worn mediums. And then that was my first experience of being in dirty air. All of a sudden coming through the first sector was a little bit shaky, but obviously Dorsey's race pace was super quick. I don't know what the gap was to third, but it looked like we dropped even the soft runners when we were on mediums. So it was a really good race. It was one of those where I had to really stay on it the entire race from start to finish, really.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think you've got to say you and Dorsey were, if not the fastest, the most consistent, certainly.
Yeah.
As the rest sort of battled and spun behind, you two kind of remained calm and cool, and took that first and second positions on the podium. But yeah, congratulations to you on the victory, and I'll hand it back to James to end the stream.
Cheers, man.
Yep. All right then. Thank you for that, Harry. Once again, congratulations to the top three and to the whole of those that Div 1 there. That was a fantastic race to commentate over. Action packed from start to finish, and yeah, just be sure to join us for the rest of the weekend then. Obviously the double header tomorrow with Div 2 and Div 3, 6 PM and 9 PM. I think me and Harry will be back for Div 3 as well, so you can enjoy more of our rambles for a couple of hours. And then of course McEwen on the Sunday at 7 PM. Be sure to join us for 1, 2 or 3 if you can make all of them. And yeah, we'll see you again same time next week for Division 1. Thank you very much, and good night.